Hello. Are you here to laugh? I know I am. So here's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be going through a couple of videos, and then that's pretty much it. And in the meantime, if you've got any other questions or you've got any other insights, please let me know, because this is massive. And you know why it's massive? Because I say so. And also because it is. And the reason that I say so is because society does. There is no way that they can win with those numbers. And I think that we're all very happy about that. Because that just shows that they even know that in the next election they're done. Aren't you happy about that? It's so #late. I'm 5 minutes late. Huh. You people give me a headache. But I am very happy about this for many, many reasons, as stipulated in the video that you already saw. So we aren't going to go through all of that again. I tell you what we will do, though, for a bit before we go into it. #tired of waiting. Come on, it is. Guys, I'm so glad that we're all in on this. Tardy Geordies. Yeah, right. You guys are very, very cruel. You know that? And sticklers. And cunts. I hope I didn't get demonetized for that, but I probably did. Anyway, the point is, may I ask, would you ever interview Vorsh? I don't know why he'd want to be, but like I suppose he's got a stream for like 15 hours a day. Hey, Geordie, loved your show on the Gold Coast. Good stuff, mate. Scam locksmith here. Shouldn't you be in locksmith school? God, isn't that so boobery as well? I don't even know what it's called. That guy was sick. That was a really cool show. Everybody at that show was awesome. The PhD lady, the inbreds, little nerd in the corner that was just like, oh my God, Kevin, that's incredible. There was like, dude, everyone there was a legend. Gold Coast was one of my best, most favorite shows of the year so far. It always is. It's just fun. Who knew that an American boomer phrase, own the libs, would be president in 2025? Good point, Bob. Suck it to him. I don't think that they've had enough this week. More meanness. Anyone else got some stuff to say? Let's just go through it while we're just waiting for people to just come on in. We also do need to discuss Mr. John Howard and his prescient thoughts on the matter. In the meantime, Stolen Shorts World, thoughts on Dreyfus and Hussig's dismissal. Here's my thoughts on that. Not many. This is pretty much it. Look, I'll tell you this. The Labor Party is a cruel mistress. She is a brutal machine. And she is that way for a reason. It is because she has been around for 100 years and she's seen it all. She's seen every single way that a government collapses. She's seen every single way that that small little coalition of unions can start screwing each other over. And so when they are overrepresented in the cabinet, that's one of the rules. You got to go out. Brisbane show went hard. Hope the scarves were okay. Yes, Monsky, if I could be bothered, I'd drive home to my house and I'd put on one of your beanies, because that is the most grandma-y thing anyone's ever done for me in my life. My grandma certainly didn't do that. They don't get that. Monsky gave me a bunch of beanies and she just gave me another $20, but she's a very, very nice young lady that has the same temperaments as an 80-year-old. And as a result of that, is making some really, really good scarves. The Liberal government... Oh, wait, never mind. Yes, my audience is the best. It's so good. You guys are just hilarious and nice. That's pretty much it. It's just endless mad gags and scarves. How could you hate you? Hey, Jordan, are you going to keep ignoring the $100 comments? Oh, of course, naturally, as is always the case when it comes to this stream. You know what else I might do afterwards as well is I might... maybe, if I can figure out how to do it, I might play some Warhammer, if you're very good. If you're nice little zerglings. Maybe I will. Who knows? Who knows what we'll do on this crazy pod stream. There's too many things these days, isn't it? There just used to be TV and radio, and that's it. And frankly, that was too much. I like the radio days that I was definitely alive for. When are you getting a response bid to Kangaroo Court? Oh man, that's in the pipeline now. But that was too good to. You really needed to knit me a sweater instead, didn't you? Look at how pov this is. Kmart shit. which I will get more of because I still swear to God, like, look, I would have to go through 10 of these to pay for another normal jacket at Connor, and Connor's not even a good place. When are we getting a response bid on Kangaroo Court? Shut up. But also, I'll tell you this, you will get it when it's edited, because it is already edited. It's just too good. Like, I'm sorry, when a lolcow like that offers you a free squeeze of the udder, my God, you have to give it a real thorough, yeah, all the prunes gone. So, you know, we went all out on that one. We had fun with it. This is, I'm actually quite looking forward to this era because I feel like we can start working on the shitheads. You know what I mean? Like that kind of like Saturday paper crikey crowd more, which I just find so much more insufferable than the Sky News stuff, because it's like, look, if you're going to lie, can you at least be funny about it? Come on. All right, here we go. Petition to get Dutton a role as a ghoul in Fallout Season 2. Well, everybody better get to this President Tree, Barack Obama. Everyone start putting it to him. Start putting in the goddamn, you know what I'm talking about. All right, where do you go to oil up and upload it? I don't know what the hell you're talking about, Talon, but, you know, never say never. I'm pretty into that. Australia, 51st state. Jesus, the donations are coming in thick and fast, aren't they? While we're waiting for everybody to come in. Started streaming 6 minutes ago. Yeah, the numbers are getting up there all right. Look, we'll start for another 5 minutes of me just preambling. And then the amble will start. It will commence. Funny fact that both the Greens and the Libs are attacking the electoral system right now. Oh my God, isn't it pathetic? It's so lame, isn't it? It's just the thing that I thought was mad when it suited me, as soon as it's not suiting me, all of a sudden it sucks. It's the strangest coincidence. Shut up. Don't you reckon? Just such babies. I love you, you son of a bitch. Well, I love you for giving me pounds, because that's about $15 Australian. Good shit. Keep up the good fight. Thank fuck Labor One, hoping the UK follows suit. Take some money you can't. Okay, look. You just know how to speak to an Aussie, don't you? Saying cunt is like saying sir in your country. You know what I'm doing at the moment, Megalodon? I'm reading a book about your guys' monarchy. This is pathetic. So many times, everybody has always said, can you stop doing niche historical lectures about your for your stand-up shows? But like, I don't know, it's just kind of interesting. It's just interesting. It's just hard to sell tickets to it, just being like, here you go. A run around of the British monarchy. At least, you know, somebody who's not that educated on it. Now, let me see this. Do you have any idea of how much money you could get, you could grift from us if you exploited our parasocial attachment to you by being slightly more competent at streaming? Milk fans for free labor to help you. Spencer, you're absolutely right. Look, there is nothing more profitable than streaming. I mean, geez, look at all of this stuff going through, which, thank you, by the way, every single cent that you put through that, we're just going to put it straight back into the business. So that's very nice of you. But yes, we absolutely could do that. It's just, I feel like to do it, you would have to be a debate lord. And don't you think, I don't know. Look, I kind of sit there with that same chimp response of just like, when it happens, but I'd prefer to sit there and write things of substance. Then again, that could just be me being a coward. Who knows? But you guys, honestly, I will say this. It's so much, you're so much better than all the other audiences. You really are. Like, I see how much, I don't know, Hassan's or Destiny's audience or something like that is just endlessly at their throats, endlessly attacking them. It's like, these are the ones that pay them too. Kneecap concert shows how Australians feel about the monarchy. Okay. All right, well, I don't know what that is, but very good. Thank you very much. $50? Hey, big spender! Geordies, take money and explain Warhammer in caveman terms. Me no understand. Ooga booga. His name's Ooga booga, and he wants me to explain it in caveman terms. All right. The Orc tribe meet the human tribe, and they smash. And when they smash, Orc tribe win, because Orc tribe have more. Ooh. And you know what? Honestly, that's about all that I know about Warhammer. Is there anything else? It's just endless war, isn't it? Very, very silly. Challenge Bruz to N64 Mario Kart race. Oh my god, that's such a good idea. Could you imagine how good the views would be for that? I really feel like if we streamed that and paid like tickets to just like a Mario Kart off with Bruz, especially, look, even if he didn't want to be in the same room as me, and I can fully understand why, right? Even if he didn't want, if we just streamed that, look, man, he'd be making back all the money that he lost in his divorce, I'll tell you that. $10 for a special bottle of shampoo for Miss Love's bald hair. Chill, Bill. All right, just so anybody knows. Look, we've got the Friendly Geordies podcast. You can go look at it. Oh my god, that was the funniest story of all time. Miss Love was walking around Adelaide and like 8 African chicks, and they were apparently just like fresh off the boat African, right? And he's just walking, he's at a stop, and then they just go, you have a bald head. And then he goes, huh? And they go, you are a bald man. And then he goes, what? He goes, I have a question for you. Why do you put on the shampoo on your head, or do you just put on soap? And then he's just like, I don't know. Sometimes I put on shampoo. They're like, he puts on shampoo. He puts on shampoo. He has no hair. And then he just ran away, like crying. These like 8 African chicks like bully mugged him. It was incredible. Is your UFO tour done? Also, no, Christ, no. That's going on forever. I like UFOs. Also, are you planning on staying on Red Thread for a while? Yeah, I'm planning on staying on Red Thread. I love doing that podcast. It's just nice. Like, I like not thinking about politics all the time. Who'd have guessed? And you sit there and force me to do it. Anyway, let's watch a couple of 7:30 Report interviews and Sky News interviews of John Howard complaining. Ready? This is just the booze talking, but you got a political view that won't quit. They got this housing policy, $7.99. Get out of here. Jack Gallagher. I didn't think that anybody could make me happier, but here we are. I might just divorce my fiance. I don't know. Well, you know the phrase. Anyway, let's watch the 7:30 Report. Just, coming up with these little stupid little impish points. God, he's just such an unimpressive looking man, isn't he? It just looks like it's like, sorry, David, you're slightly not ugly enough to be at Gringotts Bank. Okay, I guess I'll join the Nationals.
Welcome to 7:30.
What the fuck is that smell? All right, I'll take that back. Gringotts it is.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, look at his little pussy voice. All right, sorry, I'm turning this up as well. Sorry, they're just very, very rude.
Coalition, the National Party or the Liberal Party?
We got to a position in the National Party room this morning after negotiations that have been going on between Susan Lee and myself, predicated on the fact that we couldn't get comfort, that key policy areas that were secured in the last Parliament, that were important to not just the National Party but to people of regional Australia and changing their lives for the better, could not get an ironclad guarantee because of the processes that have constrained Susan Lee in wanting to re-engage with her party and being...
I think that's a lie, though, don't you? I think that that's a complete and utter lie. I'm pretty sure that Susan Lee gave them everything that they wanted. She gave them $20 billion for no reason. She gave them net zero, or not having net zero, and gave them nuclear power. And they go, nah, still not enough. They just know that they're in a very strong bargaining position. This man, there is something that I never thought that you'd hear in your life. That man and the word strength.
Being able to give me that assurity, my party room that assurity, and we felt that it was an untenable position. In
he is the boy from Stuart Little. That's a sick call, eh?
They are key policies that we fought for and are important to us and the people we represent.
Oi, Geordies, what did you think about the Isaac Butterfield pre-election video? Super cringe, basically repeating Sky News and Cooked Boomer talking points. No, see, that's the whole thing. Isaac's video, I think, if you have Isaac's worldview, it was actually fairly coherent. I was just like, whoa, damn, there you go. As in, he's like, I don't give a shit about anything except free speech. He pretty much just towed the line on that pretty well. And then just said, nuclear power is a good idea, but then again, what the fuck do I know? It's just, look, I like the fact that Isaac Butterfield is just like, look, this is not my area of expertise. My area of expertise is clowning on vegans, and these are just like my thoughts, I guess. Like, it's so much better than virtually everybody else that comments on this field and doesn't do the reading, doesn't spend time on it, knows shit all. We'll get to them in a way, by the way. But, like, dude, I absolutely do not classify Isaac Butterfield as, like, a whinge merchant, you know? That guy is just a man from Newcastle, you know? He had a face way too small for his head, like you messed with the sliders in the character creation screen, Ducks. I'm sorry. I read that out way too, dyslexically. Let me read that out again. He has a face way too small for his head. Check. If you like, mess with the sliders on the character creation screen in Dark Souls. Check. Damn. Take that, you small little cunt.
So we've done this in a respectful way, in a transparent way, in a way that also respected the personal circumstances of Susan, allowing her to drive the timeline and the negotiation and discussion because of her personal circumstances.
All right, let's talk about this practically, because at the moment, of course, no one is actually walking away from anyone on the Liberal side. None of the policies that you have given as reasons.
This money is for Miss Love, not you. Somebody gave me $50 just to say that. Oh, you are so nice to Miss Love. Bastard. He's not getting it. Geordie's take... Oh, yeah, already got that one done. Sickness. All right, sorry. We will continue on. Don't you think that Littleproud looks like his face was squashed in a toaster? Yeah, no, but not just his face, like his whole head. It's kind of flat, isn't it? He looks like his brain is fried, but he's the leader of the Nationals. It's really weird, isn't it? Because it's like, he does look like he has no brain, but at the same time, he has glasses. Perplexing.
For the split are genuine deal breakers for the Liberals. So why would you push through such a drastic outcome?
Well, that's not the guarantee that we could get from Susan Lee, because Susan wanted to go through an elongated process of policy formation.
Yeah, but they always do
have
that.
To restart effectively what we did over the last 3 years.
But let's just go through them just to be clear for the view.
I mean, look, it doesn't really matter, I suppose. I don't know why David Littleproud even did this. He should just decline to interview, because he's actually in a really boss position right now. He gets to come out. He shouldn't have even said, oh, yeah, no, it's just because they're sorting themselves out and these weren't things that we would absolutely needed for regional Australia. None of that. None of that. Man, he should have just come out and said, I'll tell you why. Because there's some seats I want. That's why. It's just so much more... I mean, I know
viewers.
This guy, he's just
talking
like
about
pathetic.
Blowing up the coalition after 30
You did something extremely manly here. Just go the whole hog.
years and making the opposition less effective. You say that the issues are nuclear as part of the energy mix, divestiture powers for supermarkets as a last resort, an off-budget fund for the regions, and mobile phone access renegotiation agreements in the bush. These are all policies that you would anticipate the Liberals would support. Are you claiming otherwise?
Yeah.
Well, we couldn't get an ironclad guarantee that they would be, and that all of those were ones that could be secured. And I made it very clear after the discussions with Susan. I expressed her words and her written format to the party room, and they didn't get the comfort that they were looking for on these key areas. And we were in a position that Susan obviously wants to announce a shadow cabinet. To do that, there needs to be a coalition agreement. And these were basis of what we were predicating our position on, which was on policy. And those were the policies that I made clear that while we got to an agreement last term on those, they still remain important, and that we didn't want to get to a juncture in 12 months' time where one or all of those couldn't be agreed to.
All right, just be clear.
We would find ourselves in this situation now.
Yes, just be clear, David Littleproud, which one of those policies do you think the Liberal Party would actually not support? Because they're all Liberal Party policies, they all fit with...
Man, you know what? It's honestly incredible looking at the 7:30 report in the era of Labor being in power and seeing them hold the coalition to account and squirm. It's really, really strange. I like it. I hope Will may continue for the next 100 years to just keep them weak and divided and annoyed, but Just so you know, Zoomers, the 7:30 report is not like this when the Liberal Party is in. It's incredible to look at. These interviews reminded me too much of Clark and Dorr. Yeah, exactly, Daniel. It's incredible because the whole thing is, when you are doing this to the Labor Party, it's kind of like you're being a cunt. Like, there is not this level of squirming and equivocation that happens here, right here. It reminds me of the glory days. I'm telling you right now, you go back and you watch the 7:30 report in the 80s, and this is what it was like when Howard was getting interviewed then. And then go watch him getting interviewed in the 90s. It's a very different tone. Imagine creating this mess this much like a rabble over folks not committing to a policy as awful as nuclear. Hilarious. But that's the whole thing. Shabuga, like, this is not the reason why. I'm telling you, the reason that they want to do this is because they want to compete with them in seats. Or they want to absolutely kneecap them with some unimaginably bad demands. It's one of the two things. But it wouldn't be because of the usual things about
Liberal Party philosophy. Which one were they going to turn their backs on, do you claim?
Well, I'm not going to air that on your program. That's a matter for the Liberal Party to work through. And if they can get to that juncture, then that obviously is the basis to move forward. But that's not the confidence that we could get. And from the discussions I had and what I was...
Is Labor going to be the natural party of government? It looks like it. God, I'm excited about this new era. I really am. Like, it really feels like... I mean, you look at the states, for instance. The states have always leaned towards the Labor Party. But these days, the coalitions across every state, bar the LNP, and you watch, they'll stop being popular very quickly because they're going to start ramming through all the stuff that they were told by federal Liberals. Don't put that out because that's just going to take off our sheen for the election. And so they said, yeah, all right, I'll wait for that. But they're going to put that stuff through, and then they'll be really unpopular. Man, it really looks like that the Liberal Party is just a complete and utter clown show. Where do you see the Liberal Party in 3 years? Do you think that they will reform or become irrelevant? I think that they're much more likely to become irrelevant. I mean, look at this, for instance. I would be honestly astonished if Susan Lee, and then, 2 weeks later after she gets knifed by Angus Taylor, has the leadership foresight of a Robert Menzies to bring together like the conservative movement in inverted commas. Can you see it happening, Cosmic? Wouldn't it be incredible if it just turned out, no, Angus Taylor was playing dumb all along. Really, he's the smartest man on earth.
Able to present to the party room, both in written form and in verbal form, from the negotiations was not that we could provide to the party room.
Is this real?
I've never consumed so much Sky News. The tears of unfathomable sadness taste so sweet. Are they still crying about it? Oh, I thought that they'd be into... All right, the time for sadness is over. It's time for something very, very strange on Sky News. Unfiltered rage.
Really what this is about. If you peel off a couple of those policies they're important, but they are minor in the greater scheme of politics as they stand at the moment. For example, the renegotiation of service agreements in the bush, they were going to have to be done after the entry of Starlink. The off-budget fund is not a very large amount of money. You could assume
Labor would win more regional seats if they allow people to grow weed and ride dirt bikes on ground land. Yes, they would. That is absolutely a vote winner. He for sure gets told to look like and smile. Yeah, he had to. That smile there. This one at the beginning. It's like a character from a horror film. That's the closest thing he can do to a smile.
Assume that you would get that. Again, divestiture powers, you could assume you would get that. Nuclear too. Are you saying the Liberal Party would not support an agnostic view on nuclear as part of Australia's energy mix?
Well, I couldn't get a guarantee on all those that I presented to the party room from what I was provided. And to say that they're not important, I'm sorry. If you want to live in regional Australia today, there's people's lives that are being put at risk.
Just to be clear, David Littleproud, I didn't say that the policies weren't important. I said that...
Exactly. Come on, just David, shut the fuck up. Seriously. I mean, look, he did a very good move electorally, but I will say this again. He really does suck, doesn't he? Anyone from the National Party, bar Barnaby Joyce, is just so shit at communicating. It's just, Bushfolk, that's not their strength. Their strength is sitting on fence posts.
When looking at the condition of politics in Australia at the moment, you are talking about blowing up the coalition for a policy that you could reasonably expect the Liberals to support.
So in the scheme of politics, Sarah, are the people of regional Australia, do they not count? Does their safety about having the...
Oh my God, this is pathetic. It's just, David, you're not good at talking, let alone acting. This is a really, really lame moralisation, isn't it? And on top of that, come on, this is not the reason that you did this. Can you just fess up to it? It's just, please, that's all I want to hear him say once is like, yeah, we've realised that we're stronger than we normally are and we're already extremely strong.
Ability to pick up a mobile phone when they're in danger and it working, their ability in a cost of living crisis for a young family to be able to have childcare places created for them in regional Australia, for us to be able to train our young people in regional Australia.
That's incredible, isn't it? So pretty much he's just spruiking two massive Labor policies and sitting there and being like, the Nationals are delivering childcare centres to the bush and telecommunications lines. That's us. Fuck off.
To be doctors and nurses that we need, are they not important enough that we should stand principled by our values of supporting them? I'm sorry, yes, in the scheme of...
Steady trousers. I've made a huge mess on Dunny and I need to waddle over to the shower soon. Hell yeah. You keep up the good work, man. Kia ora from Aotearoa, Jordan. $5 New Zealand dollars? Look, you're lucky that someone from the UK gave £5 to cancel out your piddly currency. You've been my main source of Aussie politics lately. Fingers crossed our right-wing coalition breaks up soon as well. Rajin, thank you so much for your money, by the way. But on top of that, that's hilarious. Look, do you even have a coalition? I suppose you just have to in every government that you ever elect, really. The thing is, I'd imagine that those ones breaking up just aren't as effective and big of a deal because, yeah, Kiwi, Raging, you really don't understand how huge this is, right? This never happens. It happens sometimes on a state level, but this is massive that they just walked away from this. This shows that the National Party knows that they are not getting into power for a long time, at the very least. Jordan, please, £5. Thank you very much. How do you look so smooth with your skincare routine? Tell me all your secrets, cunt. Look, I've said it before. I'll say it again. Here's what you do. You get rice, you turn it into congee, you add some honey, and then you just put it on your face. And that's what you do. That SK2 ad from back in the day of just being like, how did the Japanese hands are so good? It's because of rice. I'm telling you, it is rice. You give yourself rice mask every single time. Your face will thank you. Believe me. Why does David Littleproud look like he got kicked out of the Parliament House? They made it look like the Nationals are homeless. Yeah, because he feels more comfortable out in the open fields. So he goes outside to look at the Parliament lawn and be like, reminds me of sugarcane. Why do you think Tony Abbott and previous Liberal leaders were able to hold together the coalition, e.g. the Teals and the Nationals of Voters, and Dutton couldn't? That's a very good question. I honestly think it is because there is a really good book that I highly recommend everybody out there read. All right, we're gonna watch this together because I think I'm gonna have to make my next stand-up show about this. Either that or the British monarchy. Such bad topics, but look, you are all going to read this book. I'm trying to just get it into the big thing. Ready? Write this down. Read that book. Our Own Worst Enemy. Man, even Mislove from the pod likes it. And he hates reading. So, like, it is phenomenal. But it basically just talks about the rise of narcissism in society and how that's, like, slowly breaking it apart. And that is nowhere near as prevalent on something like the Labor Party because you have a common cause that generally at the core of it, they believe people should be coming together and building the government, you know? Whereas these guys are basically just cocksuckers to power. That's it. And so obviously when the brand doesn't suit them anymore, they'll start breaking apart. And I think that that's exactly what happened with, Tony Abbott and Malcolm Turnbull and all that. social media made it difficult for them to do that, and so they had to put it under an umbrella. And then you've got all these smartasses that have this good idea, like Simon Holmes Accord and stuff, of like, oh no, I can make it look like me. It can just look exactly like how I wanted it to look. Keep going, man. Keep going. I will burn in hell for this, but it really looks like someone with Down syndrome, which reflects their policy. All the love from Townsville, lol. Hey, that's my bit. You come to the show and you watch that in your own time. But yes, very good, and thank you for the 20. There's too many goddamn donations coming in. I'm a nurse. Hearing Littleproud talk about doctors and nurses just makes me uneasy in a way I can't quite articulate. Yeah, because any moment that they get, they just cut it constantly, all the time. They just cut funding constantly. Nothing says regional representation like a party that doesn't exist left of the AST time zone. That's hilarious. I didn't know that. Come on, you. Slugology, please tell me you're not making that up. The Liberal Party has only ever been in a ceasefire agreement with the mercantile class and primary producers. They'll be back, but not soon. Yeah, Daniel Richardson, that is a mad call. You summed that up so well just then. Inshallah. May Tim Watts forever bring my little pony figures into Parliament for 1,000 years. Godspeed, Labor Majority and Chairman Albo. Godspeed. My little pony freak. George, have you seen the absolute unit that is Matt Smith, the new Labor MP for Leichhardt? Possibly Jack Lang reincarnation, but this time he knows ball. What's his name? Matt Smith. Everyone read My Worst Enemy. Our own worst enemy. Holy shit. Holy fuck, what a man. He's like 8 feet tall, surely. Matt Smith, former Cairns Taipan player. Wow, he must have made a lot of money. Damn, dude. See, Labor gets it. Just chuck in a footy player in regional place. You absolutely will be able to out these nationals. One sec, $50. I've got to read that out, and then we'll keep going. Grisk, Morrison gone, Dutton gone, Bant gone, Coalition gone. Does the reach of Albo's assassin know no limits? I don't know. I think they're all gone. All of them.
Of the big
this is the only man that stands. He's not even a man.
It might mean much to people, but to us and to me and to the pledge that I made to not just the people of Maranoa, but the people that voted for the National Party, I'm going to stand up and make sure I leave a legacy because their lives are just as important as anybody else.
I think you're.
I hope.
If I may just,
dude, this is pathetic. This grandstanding
I think you're
sucks.
misunderstanding me there. I'm saying you would have an expectation that the Liberal Party would support every one of those policies. So the question remains, are they really the reason for this blow-up with the coalition?
Yeah,
or is it that the party
ask it, Sarah.
that you represent wants to drop the net zero emissions target?
No. The decision is predicated on those 4 topics. That was what was put to the party room, and we met on Friday after initial discussion with Susan. I put those 4 topics that they felt were important before we even talked about shadow cabinet positions or anything out. That was the key policy positions that needed to be determined. We were going to work through those in a considered way, but they were lines in the sand that were going to change the lives of the people we represent. And I hope that the Liberal Party can get there, and I think hopefully they will. But Susan has made a commitment to her party room, and rightfully so, as she should, as I've made one to mine, that she wants to go through a longer process of discovery of those policies, whether they fit her philosophy.
He's not going to answer. What a pussy. No, but seriously, you really can't say that David Littleproud is a pussy. He's a lot of things, including, as many people have pointed out in this chat, probably has Down syndrome. But the thing is that he's definitely not a pussy. Now, speaking of not pussies, Bolt with the Bolt report. Tell it like it is, Bolt. Let's see what he has to say with John Howard. I really want to see John Howard and his views on this, because I'm guessing that he's going to be very pro the coalition splitting up. Let's find out together.
It was in 1987 for just 4 months, and that was when Queensland Premier Joe Bjelke-Petersen of the Nationals decided to become Prime Minister. but his Joe for PM campaign totally flopped, and the Liberals got smashed, not the Hawke Labor government. Labor won a record number of seats, and by the end of the year, Bjelke-Petersen was even sacked as Premier by his own party.
That's right. I forgot about all of this. Thank you for reminding me of it, Mr. Sky News. Yes, I forgot that they actually did do it for a little bit before. I can't believe that. There was a huge chapter about it in John Howard's book. Good boy. Hi, Jordan. I'm about to move to the Riverina electorate after a lifetime of living a Greylander. What advice would you have for somebody moving from the world's safest Labor electorate into a national insane asylum? Dude, embrace the chaos. Honestly, the whole thing is moving to regional Australia. It's a fun 3 or 4 years of your life, and then it gets very depressing and usually ends up with a shotgun right in the mouth. So make sure you move out before that. But in the meantime, yeah, ride those hump Brahma bulls, mate. You're going to have fun. You really will. Most places in regional Australia, I really feel like you really haven't lived life unless you've done that for just a little bit. Just so you know how wheat's produced. You never will, but you'll see the silos and go like, yeah, and then it comes out as cornflakes, right? Yeah, that's how it works. Libs and Nats now relegated to the regional backyard, fighting each other for scraps. I need to migrate back from London to enjoy the sideshow firsthand. Dude, it's fair. Wizard of Ooze. It is spectacular. Welcome, my friend.
Joining me is the man who was then Liberal leader at that sorry time, John Howard.
Jesus, he's been around a long time, hasn't he? And he looks exactly the same.
Prime Minister.
He just has a little more hair. It's like him and Bernie Sanders. They haven't aged.
John Howard, thank you very much for your time.
Look at him. He's just not wearing glasses. That's it.
The coalition, your reaction, I mean, it must bring back some painful memories.
I don't compare today's situation with 1987, although that was pretty painful. I am very sorry that this has happened, and I urge both...
Man, he does look like a little Gringotts goblin, doesn't he? Let me see if I can do the Howard face. Yeah, this sort of sneaky, chimp, impish... The difference is, John Howard, every time you look at him, you think, look, there is a guy that knew how to do it. There's no one like that anymore in the Liberal Party. It's just an entire generation that they've missed out on. This was the last smart man they had.
Parties to work overtime to put the coalition back together again, because all the history of Australia's...
Matthew West asking the usual question, what should I have for dinner? I'll tell you what you should have for dinner. You ready for this? Thai red duck curry. Do that.
Suggests that the glory days of the Liberal Party and the National Party, the old country party, are when they are working together in government. I think of the partnership between Menzies and Fadden and Menzies and McEwen and Fraser and Anthony, and the wonderful friendship and partnership I had with Tim Fisher and John Anderson, who I don't think I've met a more honourable person in public life than John, and Mark Vaile.
I wouldn't say that, but I would say very, very handsome. I'll say that. There has never been a more handsome man in Parliament. You know that guy puts Valvoline in his tractor. Jordan, you got to mess with the chroma key and your green screen. Please have a good night. I don't know what that means. I'm too tech illiterate. I'll take it on notice.
Trust. We had our policy differences, but the way to resolve policy differences between the Liberal Party and the National Party...
How much for you to do a show in the UK? I'll pay. I swear to God, come here and make my last... Yeah, okay, yeah, actually I will. I am going to go to the UK at some point. I've been putting it off for years. For no reason either. The Young Libs have no cultural appeal either, do they? None at all. It's just a networking event. And it's not really a networking event anymore because what are they? There's no power there. I'm telling you, the only reason that people ever go into the Liberals is because they're social climbers. That's it. Jake Smart. Do the Liberals just put Howard in a cryo chamber until the election? How the hell is he still alive? That's what I want to know too, Jake. I always think that. The classic, like, Smithers, put me back, I'm not done yet. Don't you think he looks like that constantly? Jake, I'm glad that you called it as well.
The framework of the coalition.
John Howard, it seems that Susan Lee, the Liberal leader, actually did tell the Nationals that if she...
Hey, Geordies, what do you think about the new Greens leader? And have I been looking to get involved in public service or volunteering? Any suggestions? Public service, obviously, that you join a bureaucracy. In terms of volunteering suggestions, I am always of the opinion of like one of those nice environmental programs. I'll tell you what, honestly, you know what I think is the best job in Australia by a mile? I've never met anybody that has it, that hates their life. They all love it. Bush regeneration. Why? It's just classic Buddhism, right? Like, you want to be happy for life? Start a garden. That's all they do. They just make gardens. That's it. What a life. They are really, really happy people. And they do a great thing for the world. This sounds like Abe Simpson's classic Onion in the Belt Ramblings classic. Howard, yeah, Luke. It's so true. Dude, I'm sorry. Hang on. Luke, I know that we have serious business to attend to here, but you have tickled my fancy. We are going to have to put that in.
We can't bust heads like we used to, but we have our ways. One trick is to tell them stories that don't go anywhere. Like the time I caught the ferry over to Shelbyville, I needed a new heel for my shoe. So I decided to go to Morganville, which is what they call Shelbyville in those days. So I tied an onion to my belt, which was the style at the time. Now, to take the ferry cost a nickel, and in those days, nickels had pictures of bumblebees on them. Give me 5 P's for a quarter, you'd say. Now, where were we? Oh, yeah. The important thing was that I had an onion on my belt, which was the style at the time. They didn't have white onions because of the war. The only thing you could get was those big yellow ones.
Amex business
classic.
cards are made for businesses.
Shut up. Sorry, I'll go through the other comments that we've got. I can't quote this comment due to YouTube auto moderation, but Keating made a funny comment about wheeling out little Johnny recently. Did he? I mean, you know, not that the Labor Party can talk, but the Labor Party is not as fond of Keating as they are of Howard, are they? Keating's for the true believers. Keating's for the grassroots, isn't he? The actual cabinet doesn't like him. They usually dismiss their fallen heroes. They're very... The Labor Party is a very unforgiving, unsentimental party, aren't they, at its core? And God, I mean, you know, Howard is just moderated into a god over at the Liberals, isn't he? And, you know, with good reason. Hey, Jordan, which book would you recommend to somebody who's looking into Australian political history? This one right here, No Power Greater. That is pretty much the history of this country, because the history of this country is unions. It was all built off of unions. That's where you need to go. Now, in terms of other books that I've read on Australian political history that I like, honestly, anything about Paul Keating. Anything about Paul Keating. Do you want to know why we are where we are now? It's because of that. Because of that man. And then other than that, I can't really think of any good ones. Howard's autobiography I didn't mind, actually. You remember a few years ago autographing the federal court filing documents from your lawsuit with Bruz? Still sits framed in my office. Jack, that's sick. Jack, that's very sweet of you. Making me teary here. Precious memories. I quit the Liberals yesterday. I was at a Liberal function on the election night, and the reaction in the room was like the last days of the Führer bunker. Was it? I can imagine, actually, now that you mention it. That is very interesting. Thank you, Mr. Sandman. You proud Jamaican man who's a member of the Liberal Party. Question, is Susan Lee's hairstyle a mullet? It's getting damn close. I can't unsee it.
She was given more time. The Liberals could probably agree to all their 4 demands, including nuclear power. Should the Nationals have agreed to give them that time rather than pull the pin this quickly?
Well, Andrew, I won't pretend that I know the detail of all of the discussions between the two of them, so I think I'll take a bit of a pass on that question. I will say this, though, that my experience as a Liberal leader and as a coalition Prime Minister is that if you have a strong coalition and plenty of trust...
All right. That's it. Someone said that they gave me $10 to watch Paul Keating's I Want to Do You Slowly. Who am I to judge? Whatever gets you off, eh? And it gets me off as well. So let's watch it. In case nobody has seen, it is just classic, isn't it? Let's do it. All right, we'll do the elongated version as well. This is incredible. Honestly, there are so many people I know that fall asleep to just Paul Keating slamming cunts in Parliament. It's just perfect. He's incredible.
Leader of the opposition.
Thanks, Mr. Acting Speaker.
Order. The Leader of the Opposition has the call. The Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. I refer the Prime Minister to his hopeless attack on Fightback at the press club today.
Order. The leader will get to the question.
Are so confident about your view of Fightback, why won't you call an early election? Because, mate. Because.
Order.
The answer is, mate, because I want to do you slowly. I want to do you slowly. I know. There's got to be a bit of sport in this for all of us. There's got to be a bit of sport in this for all of us. And in the psychological battle stakes, we are stripped down and ready to go. And I want to see those ashen-faced performances, more of them. I want to be encouraged. I want to see you squirm out of this load of rubbish over a period of months. There's going to be no easy execution for you. No easy execution for you. You've perpetrated one of the great mischiefs on the Australian public with this thing, trying to rip away our social wage, trying to rip away the Australian values which we built in our society for over a century. And if you think I'm going to put you out of your misery quickly, you can think again.
It's just incredible. There's no one like him. There's going to be one Keating ever. That's it. God, I wish I was alive for the glory days. And that you could comment on YouTube at the same time. It just would have been an endless content machine. It was just like, you know what Keating was? Smart Trump.
Of any policy differences. You never get everything you want. I mean, I used to say to some of my Liberal colleagues who complained that I was being a bit generous to the National Party, I say, well, in a partnership, the numerically smaller part, and that's always the National Party, is entitled to have some wins. And that's the nature of the political game.
I just wonder if this...
Wasn't Bowler staffer for Hawke in the 80s? I think he was. Also, do you have a show about Keating at an embryonic stage? What the hell does that mean? No. You can laugh at both the British and the French for completely different reasons. Can I? Okay, well, that just went off the rails. I don't know what the hell you're talking about in the last one, but thank you for the $10. How long until we get Gina Reinhart presents the Hancock Mining McDonald's Australia NRMA National Party Outback Spectacular Party? Oh, give it time. It's stewing, my friend. Don't be impatient. I need your valuable insights. If Susan Ley had to be portrayed as a Simpsons character, which one would she be? Okay, look, I did just cheat and look at the comments because it didn't come straight to mind, but someone's got it. Mrs. Lovejoy. Jason writes, right? It's Mrs. Lovejoy. It's Mrs. Lovejoy. And she is. She's that kind of like little finicky sort of like that type of woman exists in rural Australia, doesn't it? Just like, I should have been a librarian, a cunty librarian. John Howard and the Liberals are like Alien versus Predator Requiem. Paul Keating and Labor are like Alien 1986. No comparison in quality. Aliens 1986 best movie. Are you an Aliens man, are you? I think that's a pretty controversial opinion. Who's Alien then, Stainless Stove? Who's Alien? I'm bringing it back. Howard is Mr. Sheen. Yeah. Always. Look at him. He just is. It's just a fact.
This could be not as disastrous as some people are saying, provided there is a healing relatively soon, given this, that the Nationals have given the Liberals an ultimatum, an important line, stick with nuclear in particular, or else there is no deal, there can be no deal. And if the Liberals do that, I think they'll have the right policy then, but then there can be a coming together after.
Damn, dude, it's just delusional, isn't it? It's like, look, you have lost that argument. This is clearly not the right policy. This is something that's quite astonishing to me about most commentators. They don't seem to understand or respect in the slightest the fact that democracy is like a give and take, and you don't get everything you want. This is something that I do really respect about politicians. Like John Howard just said it. It's like the nature of governing is you put forward things and then people say, no, I want that, and yes, I want that, and then you implement it, But they just live in this fantasy deluded world of, no, I want nuclear, so we're just going to go ahead with it. No, you lost. That's sorry. Barunga, I had 5 people ask me who to vote for, Nats and Greens previously. You started my political education. I've seen similar comments, and if you consider the domino effect, I think you still underestimate your impact. Barunga, that is lovely. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. I mean, that's why we're here.
To that. But if the Liberals went ahead and said no to nuclear, there couldn't be.
Well, Andrew, I'm in furious agreement with you about nuclear power. I think it's part of the ultimate solution, and I hope fervently.
Now, my story begins in 1952. We had to say dickety because the Kaiser stole our word 20. John Howard on the Bolt Report. Timmy!
The Liberal Party sticks completely.
Your moustache is doubled in length since the stream started. Yeah, it has. What the hell? I should have shaved.
A nuance here and there, but fundamentally it's part of the long-term solution. The other issues, well, I'm a bit of a sceptic about net zero, but I don't have a vote in these things anymore, and I haven't been in office for a long time. But once again, these are things best thrashed out in the framework of a coalition. If you go your separate ways because of policy differences, which in the end are not impossible to solve, you will only harden your different views, and that will make the ultimate coming together more difficult and more challenging.
Sage advice
if this
from an
coalition is not
old
fixed
man.
And relatively soon, what do you expect to happen to the Liberals, particularly in an election?
Well,
Damn.
We've just had an election.
He asked the big one.
When I was elected in 96, when the coalition won in 96, we had a huge majority, and interestingly, in the context of the current debate, the Liberal Party could have governed in its own right. And some, not many, but some Liberals urged that happen. And I said no. I said I'd campaigned with Tim Fischer as a coalition, and we were going to stick to it. And what was more, I knew that at the next election...
Anyone interested should read Making Modern Australia, edited by Jenny Hocking, compiled essays on the Whitlam government. Jenny Hocking. I think I'm skeptical of her for a second. I can't remember. Let me check. No, I think, hang on. No, Jenny Hocking, that's right. She was the one that came up with, okay, she is extensive. She is, damn, dude. She's the one that came and busted the lid wide open about, like, the conspiracy.
We wouldn't be able to govern in our own right, and we need the support of the Nationals, and that, of course, proved to be the case because we lost a lot of seats in 98 because we were proposing a big tax plan, and that was always controversial. But interestingly enough, within a few weeks of that decision...
I've been stealing your ideas and telling people that the Liberal Party is dead, and now everyone at work thinks I'm a genius. This is your reward for that feeling, Braden. Braden, I will take it with glee. Thank you for spreading the message, my friend. Now everyone at work thinks I'm a genius. Thanks for the 50, man. My seat forward flipped. LNP stronghold, Northern Gold Coast. Whoa. Northern Gold Coast flipped. Damn, dude. Okay. That's sick.
Of mine to renew the coalition. We had the Port Arthur gun disaster, terrible murder of 35 people, and we introduced those radical gun laws. Now, they were tough laws for a lot of National Party supporters, very tough. The leaders of the National
Labor lost an election on removing negative gearing and lowering housing prices. They moved on. Dragging a dead horse to the Melbourne Cup isn't going to win the race. Greens didn't learn from that. Yep, and it doesn't seem like it seems like the Liberals wanted to learn from that, and the Nationals are not allowing them to learn from that. It's honestly incredible to me. It's just really, really simple, basic politics. You take a suite of policies to the election, you find out which ones the people hated, and then you don't present them anymore. Otherwise, you just stay in opposition.
National Party, Tim Fischer, John Anderson, Rob Borbidge, the Premier of Queensland, they stuck by the coalition. In a sense, they repaid the loyalty they'd been shown at the time of the election. And it drove home to me that a coalition works best when there's a spirit of give and take. And I hope that the present leadership of the two parties will adopt the same attitude.
John Howard, thank you very much for your time.
Isn't it incredible? Former Prime Minister John Howard on the Bolt Report. He gets 6 minutes. 6 minutes. What else have you got going on? Dude, you've got an hour to fill a day. What are you going to do? Just trot over to like one of those other chicks that has heaps of plastic surgery and be like, well, I just think that they really need to sort things out. Like, what? All right, hang on. I'm going on a quick break and then I will come back. All right, welcome back. Now, it's time to continue on with a series of just shitheads that write dumb attack pieces about me, basically just to build up their own profile. Well, he was saying that... What the hell? What's going on? Yeah, okay, good. This guy was saying that, you know... I've done like a little TikTok on it before, but he was pretty much more or less, this asshole was just pretending that like, oh, yeah, this is like the bill that the Greens got right to disconnect on. And it wasn't. It just wasn't. It was like a bill that died in the arse. It was a private members bill, which if you know anything about it, private members bills are basically just like grandstanding bullshit. They don't have any real effective writing in them barely ever, right? Like they are just there to make the person look good. It's just a moralizing platform. They aren't legislation at the end of the day. Like, they technically can be, yeah, but they never are. It is just Facebook post bullshit. And he was using that. And, like, you know, if you understood how to read a bill, in inverted commas, right, you would know that. It would be very, very obvious. And it's just hilarious that this guy is already starting off the mark saying, like, Friendly Johnny's audience is stupid and I'm a genius and I've, like, fully read this thing. And you can just tell from that one TikTok that this guy doesn't read shit. Like, dude, he couldn't read the title. He couldn't read the title. This is how stupid this guy is. And then he does the whole, like a bunch of these guys always do, of just like, if you've actually read anything. It's like, no. Come on.
I mean, it's 500 pages long. I can't blame them.
There you go. There you go. He's read it because it's on a PDF. Look, guys, he's got the proof of it. Page 1.
In that book is the answer to what Jordan really is, a flak machine.
Ooh.
It's clear Geordies doesn't like the media in this country.
Because it is in, surprise, surprise, exact alignment with what the propaganda model wanted the Australian public to think. This mishmash of state-run... Hang on, wait. Is it getting better? Test. Is the stream working? Nah, it's slowing down again. Piece of crap! Fix now. Read your chat. My genius fixed the stream. 500 pages is nothing. Much funnier now. Okay, yeah, it seems like we're good. Propaganda and Murdoch propaganda combining into one behemoth. The news acts on the oldest trick in the magician's book, misdirection. It's not about informing people, it's about focus. When in reality they're both extremely pro-big business and extremely anti-population. They are both corporate propaganda.
You can't really blame him either. He very succinctly argues in many of his videos Chomsky and Herman's view of the media. Well, some of it anyway. He'll talk about how mass media has a corporate.
What are we going to guess here, guys? Is it I didn't say a sentence that he personally wanted said in the book? Is that what we're going to guess here? Again, if he has even read it with his proof of Googling. This is seriously how he was just like, this is the bill that got us right to disconnect. He Googled one thing, and the one thing was a dead bill. And this guy sits there and is like, have you even read? It's all working now. Okay, good. All right, sick. All right, let's go.
Which it does, but skipping to that step ignores some of the fundamental prior reading that drove Chomsky and Herman.
If you want to understand the way any society works, ours or any other, the first place to look is who is in a position to make the decisions that determine the way the society functions.
But okay, corporations make things. So where is he wrong? The problem is Geordies wants you to focus on corporations as their own thing, kind of like in a void and not manifestations of our class society. The Minerals Council, the Property Council.
Oh my god, what a dumb, shitty point. Holy fuck. Like, that's just putting words in my mouth anyway, to begin with. And then this is just going to be an entire video about, like, did you know that class exists? Yeah. Like, shut the fuck up. Dude, it's just, it's really cringy. It's just a guy that is obviously young, has no confidence because he won't show his face, probably extremely ugly, probably has no friends, and sits there just being like, I've got this special cheat code. I've watched a couple of Chomsky interviews. That's just what's happening here. And he's just being like, he's misleading you. Why? Because I haven't used the word class enough, apparently.
The Business Council or individual billionaires like Gina Reinhardt or Rupert Murdoch. What Chomsky and Herman originally intended was that you look at what, as in what class, makes things in society. That's the base. Your boss, your company employs you to make things that it owns and then sells and pays you a cut. The superstructure, or everything else in society, works to justify
which Albo is a part of, and the Block for some reason.
The existence of that base, and the media is one critical way of doing that. But by personifying it first, Geordie skips that fundamental step, and so it becomes more about who's at the wheel and less about the whole car. That subtle, slight change in
See,
relaying...
he's got that stupid, dumb, shitty view of the world of just like, oh, if you just like do what I understand to be like communist theory, the world would be sick. That's all he's saying here. And it's like, maybe, who the fuck knows? Like, as this arsehole would probably be one of those like communism's never been tried or whatever. I don't really care about like these stupid buzzwords, but like, that's his view, you know? It's just like, this thing that is like this fantasy book in my mind hasn't been implemented in the real world, and therefore everyone, it sucks. Except me, because I understand it, you know? Everyone else sucks. No one else is doing anything good. You know? That's his dumb view.
Conclusions of manufacturing consent shifts it from being a critique of class society and its inevitable outcomes to, in the eyes of his audience, something that can be corrected if we just have the right rulers.
What the fuck are you talking about? You think that was the critique of manufacturing consent? Like the book Manufacturing Consent, you dullard. See, he hasn't read it. Like, yeah, okay, that might be some of like the broad overstructure of it, but the point is, the book is just talking about how the media works, how it operates. Like, he's just, no, sorry.
And that's where the Australian Labor Party comes in.
Oh, they're part of the system, guys. That's why they suck. Yes, bring it to me. No one's ever made this point before. Yeah, the party that is at the core of the very system that he's talking about was the only thing that has ever delivered any outcomes ever for the population. That vehicle sucks. It's actually part of the system. Don't you understand, you guys? The thing that is constantly bumping up against it all the time. In the last election, what did we have, for instance? We had the closing the loopholes bill, which that guy still clearly doesn't even know what it is. Like, it's just the same thing as always. Like, they just read a bunch of shitty theory from the 19th century and then try and like cram it into like very specific national circumstances or local circumstances. Like, everything is communism and capitalism. Bah, 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 bah. You know, there's no nuance at all at it ever. It's a very simplistic, dumb view of the world. This guy's what happens when you let people go straight to university to study philosophy without making them do 10 years of being plumber first. Yeah, these champions of the working class, yeah. And of course, just shitting on the Workers' Party, primarily constructed of workers all holding this thing together, but they're all idiots, and this guy really gets it. Despite the fact that the whole thing so far, and we're about 3 minutes in, it's like, Friendly Jordies doesn't use the word class enough. That's why he's he's like part of the machine. Do you think a heart from Ryan will be rank rolling the Nats for their Miss Shadow government seats? Do you think a heart from Ryan will be bankrolling the Nats for their Miss Shadow government seat? Ooh. See, that's what I'm thinking too. Yeah, I look, I can't prove it though, but yeah. The guy who made this sounds like a Greens version of Gary Awesome. Yeah, exactly. It's just the same type of shithead over and over again. It's just, look, you always, just before we continue on with this, always be extremely weary of anybody that never shows their face, like your swollen pickles. Gary Awesome does sometimes, but he does. They all hide behind images and then their voice. That's it. And I honestly think, and I've talked to other YouTubers about this before, not with this guy, but they're exactly the same. It's always the same thing. There is a deliberate, pathetic psychology to that. And that psychology is, I think, that they are too terrified, one, of being criticized themselves. They just want to be in the seat where they get to criticize everyone endlessly. That's the first thing. So they don't ever want to be attached to it. They never want to be attached to their own shitty opinions, which is just so cowardly. And I think that the other reason that they do it is they know that their opinions are shitty. I honestly, genuinely think deep down, these people know that, because for them to actively create these videos, they have to constantly clip you out of context and lie and mislead to get to that point. And they must know that they're doing that. Like, we'll go through this. It's just going to be the same thing that Swollen Pickles does all the time, where they just clip a sentence that you say, clip it before you get to the important point, get rid of the context before that and say, this is his opinion. It'll just be that ad infinitum. What's the bet?
Do you like the feeling of power you have as a newspaper proprietor, of being able to sort of formulate policies for a large number of newspapers in every state of Australia?
Well, there's only one honest answer to that, of course, and that's yes.
By every means, the Liberal Party has the upper hand in Australia. Geordie's argument that the media just uses culture war issues to appear like there's some kind of diversity in this country is 100% correct.
It is far more sinister that the quote-unquote left-leaning SBS Viceland and the quote-unquote right-leaning Sky News invent bullshit controversies so they have superficial points of differentiation, when in reality they're both extremely pro-big business and extremely anti-population. They are both corporate propaganda.
But the Liberals,
You already showed this point. Shut up.
don't have, some innate edge. They have it because they're the party of business, from corporate donations to the portfolios and backgrounds of the ministers to...
So what the fuck are you talking about? That is their innate edge. Are you just cancelling out your own sentence?
To where their safe electorates are, to their policies. The role of the Liberals is to be the pro-business party.
Wow, what an insightful man this guy is. 3 minutes 44 seconds in, he's just said dumb shit after dumb shit.
If you look at it the way that Chomsky and Herman intended, the Liberals are ultimately a placeholder, a means to an end, a part of the superstructure.
Oh my god, he's such a dumb piece of shit. Yeah, that's all well and good, dude. The reality is, though, that the Liberal Party are fucked. Like, why are you just leaving this out and just being like, oh yeah, they're just part of the system and the system's fucked and that's why they're fucked? It's like, no, dude. There is, virtually fucking everything that is good in this country, that separates us, that made us an advanced economy, that makes us one of the envies of the world, has all been implemented by the Labor Party. We're not even talking about things like the sewerage systems. I'm talking that basic. This party has done none of it. We're talking about moving us from penal colony to advanced economy. The Labor Party has done that in the third amount of time that they've had since we've been in federation, Like, there is so much that party has done. And you're sitting there and saying, oh yeah, they're both just part of this big mega structure. It's just, you know what it is? It's just that shitty, they're both the same argument, honestly.
If there wasn't a Liberal Party, the ruling class would invent one, or...
What the fuck are you talking about? Like, yes, that's what happened. Why are you even saying this? This is so redundant.
Move to the Labor Party.
Oh, that's why! Oh, he's gotten us onto the side because... Yes, guys, did you know that the Liberal Party and the Labor Party have the same policies and they do the same shit and they're the same people with the same ethos because it's all part of the superstructure. Don't you get it? Dude, this is so simple. Like, this is basic bitch shit. This guy really thinks that he's figured it all out. This is cringy as fuck. Like, dude, I hope to God, I reckon if I went back and looked at my videos from 10 years ago, I would cringe a lot. I don't think that I would cringe this much. This is really dumb basic things. This is stoner shit. I hate how the Social Alliance and other parties similar rave about being for the workers when they're most likely just pompous UQ and U students. Yeah, always. It's always that type of person. And you can guarantee that this arsehole's from exactly the same background. You can tell. They always are. It's just because they have never actually had to encourage... they have never had to endure any actual hardship in real life, ever. They're usually from comfortable middle-income backgrounds or even higher than that. They aren't from the underclass, and they don't know what it's like not being able to go to school, not being having access to healthcare. These things are just sort of theoretical and taken for granted for these assholes. So they all just have these kinds of very dismissive, I'm so much smarter and better than ever. And he said fucking nothing. I'm far left myself, but there's no nuance or pragmatism for these people. Why are guys like this in the Greens giving and talking like Howard about the libs and nats? They're just whingers. Yeah, they're just, exactly.
Business is interested in maintaining and strengthening the economic base that they own and run. But they don't just use the Liberal Party.
Because oh my God, by the mining. They use the Labor Party too, guys. Let's see what his example is. Industry. Which Labor MP is sitting there? There might be one, but there seems to be a hell of a lot of Nationals. Anthony Albanese isn't doing this grovelling speech to the mining industry's Christmas.
Adlin, and thanks Simon and Rio Tinto for
Holy fuck. Holy fuck.